By the grace of Divine Mother Sri Jnana Shri Rajeshwari and the blessings of Param Puji Mahaswamiji, today we are beginning our knowledge query session, and we have our devotee from US, Sri Rajesh. Rajesh, are you there? Very, very nice. Very nice. Purna Asirvadam. So now, for the benefit of all the devotees, naturally, this trying period has given us very good opportunity for us to improve our knowledge. And you have asked a very relevant question about meditation. What is actually meditation? And what are the stages of meditation? And how do we understand at what stage we are? Am I right, Rajesh? Okay. So this topic of meditation is not a topic of today or yesterday. Since time immemorial, all the great saints of Bharat and of many other parts of the world, they have found that isolating oneself and then in solitude, sitting down, completely detaching oneself mentally from all activity, one closes one's mind, one closes one's eyes and ceases to do any other activity other than adorning a posture, a stable posture, and then sits down, and then closing one's eyes, one slowly applies one's mind on a single object. So now this is the general understanding of meditation. Then we have many other types of developments over the years, and we find that many sadhakas, many aspirants, many practicants have, in the course of their practice, found that many other things could be useful. Many other things could be useful for attaining the state of meditation. So as a result, the first question is, what is meditation would be, according to the Yoga Sutras of Rishi Patanjali, which forms the basis for whatever you call yoga today in this whole world. Whatever you call today in this world as yoga, the word yoga, especially pertaining to the practices of asanas and pranayama, which is most prevalent, and a little of meditation. Most prevalent is asanas and pranayama, the control of breathing. And then a little about that is meditation, a little lesser than that is meditation, and even very much lesser than that is other advanced practices in yoga. So all this has come from the Patanjali Yoga Darshanam. And from the Patanjali Yoga Darshanam we have a definition for meditation. The synonym for meditation is dhyanam. The word dhyanam is the original word from the Patanjali Yoga Darshan. Naturally, there were many masters even before Patanjali Rishi, and there were many other scriptures also other than the Patanjali Yoga Darshan, like Gheranda Samhita. So what exactly have they said about meditation? If you see the Ashtanga Yoga, meditation in this sense, dhyanam comes as the seventh in sequence. We say yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So in this context, if you understand what is this dhyanam, you have to go back a little to come, because yoga, this dhyanam is a part of the yogic practice when you take the Yoga Darshana Shastra. So in this context of the Yoga Darshana Shastra, when I say Yoga Darshana, the philosophy of yoga or Hatha Yoga. exact name for the Patanjali Rishi, what yoga he has propounded or propagated, it's called as Hatha Yoga. The word Hatha means, just like we have in a normal language, Hatha means is adamant. Adamant, or it's a very, very strict discipline imposed upon oneself. It's a discipline imposed upon oneself, and it's a determined yoga. It's a determined practice where we resolve and we don't deviate from what we resolve. So it's a Hatha Yoga. So in this context, if you see, seventh step is Dhyanam, and the definition of Dhyanam in this context is Dhyanam Nirvishayam Manaha. Dhyanam Nirvishayam Manaha is the definition in the Yoga Darshana. So now you have to understand the word Nirvishayam. In our Bharatiya scriptures, the word Vishayam means an object of a sense. We have five senses. We have the sense of visual sense. We have the auditory sense. We have the smelling sense called as the olfactory sense. We have the tasting sense called as the gustatory sense. And we have the touch sense called as the tactile sense. We have five senses. And the objects of these senses are, any form is called as it is the object of the visual sense. For example, blue is an object of the visual sense. Green is an object of the visual sense. Yellow or fat, thin, tall, rough. All these are the objects of the senses. So visual sense, we have these colors, we have these shapes. Then we have the next sense, which you call the auditory sense. We have the sound as the object of the sense. We have the smell as the object of the olfactory sense. We have the taste as the object. So we have touch is the object of the tactile. So five objects. So when you say Dhyanam Nirvishayam Manaha, that means the mind should not have any of these. Normally when we have in our mind, we have thoughts. We generally see a person. We generally may be seeing a building. We may be seeing a particular place. And that all becomes an object of the sense only. Normally in our mind, whatever we see in our thoughts, whether we imagine or automatically the thoughts come, they all have a form. It could be I'm remembering a beautiful melody. I can remember, for example, the beautiful melody of Suprabhatam, Venkatesha Suprabhatam. Say, that immediately the moment you hear, I can hear it, there's a sound. I can remember the taste of a beautiful dish, there's a taste. I can remember the touch of somebody, touch. I can remember a very beautiful fragrant agarbatti smell, it's a smell. I can remember a form, it's a form. So now, the absence of any of these is called as meditation. The absence of these things means in my mind that's why yoga also was defined as yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Dhyanam nirvishayam manaha. Dhyanam means absence of any vishay. And yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta vritti means the activity of the mind itself is chitta vritti. So there it is a subject of the mind's activity is this object of the sense. Here there is no activity itself. Yoga is one more step ahead where there is no activity at all. So yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. And we have dhyanam nirvishayam manaha. So keeping this in view, now from the yogic point of view, from the hatha yogic point of view, one should come to a state where there is nothing in the mind. It seems impossible. It is very, very almost impossible. So is it possible really? So what we call now as meditation is, we close our eyes, we sit down in a place firmly, and then we are trying to do concentration. It is not meditation. What is practiced all over the world now is concentration, that is called as dharana. It is a sixth step of the yogic sense. Dharana is being practiced. It ends up in meditation, absence of any object. Then comes samadhi avastha as the eighth step. So if you want to understand whether you are improving in your meditation, the first thing is, how long can you sit down? Is that time increasing? Suppose you sit down for 15 minutes every day, you will say, no, I have been able to sit down 15 minutes without speaking to anybody, without attending the phone. Without thinking anything for 15 minutes, I have been able to sit down. That is one achievement. Tomorrow you said I was able to sit down for 20 minutes. You have improved. Day after tomorrow you say I have sit down for half an hour. You have improved. After that you say that I have sat down for 2 hours without any pain in my legs. You have improved. So gradually as you go on, the longer the period you can sit down in one state without being disturbed, you have improved in meditation because you are able to sit down without any thoughts for longer periods, without pain also. Therefore, in order to make sure that you don't have pain, you must practice some Hatha Yoga. In order to make sure that you don't have pain while sitting down in meditation, you must make sure your diet is correct. In order to make sure that you sit down for long hours, you must make sure that there is no other ailment in your body. You should sleep well, otherwise you will feel sleepy. You will think you are meditating, actually you will be sleeping. So these all things are the indications. Suppose one more very special indication here is, if you take a video of yourself meditating, you must make sure that your neck has not fallen down like this. If your neck has gone down even a little, make sure that it is sleep only. Don't try to justify yourself that I meditated. It's a clear indication. The moment the sleep sets in, immediately the gravity will start working. Gravity will start working. For some amount we will be holding our body straight, but the neck will automatically fall down. Therefore, that is an indication of not meditating, it is sleeping. Therefore, you must have slept well. How well should you have slept? You should have slept so well that at least 3 to 4 hours your body should not sag. Your body should not sag at all. It should be in the same state, absolutely in the same state. Why should it be in the same state? Because the intention of meditation is to achieve a state of silence in the body, in the mind, absolute silence. And when this absolute silence sets in, what happens is all your entire being is rejuvenated. Entire body, entire mind, all your mechanisms in the body, they all come to a beautiful, healthy condition. Not only that, as you go deeper into meditation, remember this is a very, very beautiful thing which the Yoga Sutra will tell us, that you will come slowly to Samadhi Avastha. The moment you come to Samadhi Avastha, what will happen is, many other Shaktis in you will rise up. Those Shaktis which were never, actually you were never aware of them, all those Siddhis also will start rising as you go to Samadhi Avastha. But don't be carried away. Don't be carried away and don't tell anybody that I achieved this, I have achieved that. That is not the purpose of meditation, that is not the sentiment of meditation. Meditation is a silent, individualized practice. It's a practice of silence. For example, Adi Shankaracharya says, Ekante. Now you slightly keep aside the yoga system, come to the bhakti system, come to the bhakti as well as what you call as the other than yoga darshana. What is it? There you have a form of Paramatma and you dwell upon that form. It means it's not nirvishayam mana. In the bhakti marga, dhyanam is not nirvishayam mana. There it's not compulsory that you should not have any object. The object is Paramatma's form. For example, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunmanti Divyaistavaihi Vedaihi Sanka Padakramapanishadai Gayantiyam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yogino Yasyantam Na Vidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yogino. So when yogis are sitting down in dhyana, that Paramatma whom they see in their dhyana avastha, a devotee sees while meditating upon God. He meditates directly upon God, on the form of God, through the form of the God and chanting of the mantra, he comes to the darshan of God, which the yogis do it by not chanting. The yogis don't chant anything. The yogis don't meditate upon God's form. They don't meditate upon any form at all. They empty their mind. The devotee doesn't empty his mind, he fixes his mind on the form of God. And he fixes his mind on the form of God and chants mentally. So there also you achieve another beautiful state of darshanam. So dhyanam, first and foremost, in the yogic sense, it is the absence of an object of the mind, object of sense in the mind. And then what is the state of meditation you achieve? Longer you sit down, you are improving. The long, if you do not sleep, you are improving in meditation. And please remember, there are certain rules. One should not have heavy food and then try to sit for meditation. The ideal moment for meditation is at least 4 hours after food or 4 hours before food. That's the ideal time for meditation. And there is no specified time for meditation. One can meditate in the early morning, one can meditate even in the night when someone doesn't get sleep. Sit down. Don't worry. Don't worry that you did not get sleep. Sit down. Confidently sit down and then try to meditate. When you meditate, you apply your mind on the simplest method is to observe the breathing, how the breathing is going on. Breathing is a constant activity in our body. Just keep observing the breathing. Close, keep your eyes not tightly closed. Just the eyelids should have closed the eyes. That's all. So when you sit down like this and start meditating, gradually you'll see improvement. So if you have any other specific questions, you can even send it as a message to us. These questions, instead of having a KQ session, you can answer those questions by writing into mail or something. I presume that your question has been answered, Rajesh.
Yes, Swami. Just one thing to add to that. Like, how do we know that we are moving from concentration to meditation in the same process that you just explained?
Yeah. When there is no more object in the mind. When there is no more object in the mind, suppose you are concentrating on a candle light, or you are concentrating on the Ajna Chakra or the third eye, the position of the third eye, or you are trying to look at the tip of the nose. When you are not aware of any of these things and there is no thought in your mind, thoughtlessness. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Blessings to all of you. Blessings to Rajesh and blessings to all the devotees who are listening. Now we will begin our bhajan session today.